Unmute the mic.
The mic. The mic.
Unmute
The mic.
unmute.
The mic.
This is a Bellows Ryan production.
Peace and blessings, family. I'm your humble host, Truth.
The mic.
Unmute the mic.
Peace and blessings, family. I want to welcome y'all to a brand new episode of Speak Your Peace Music Edition, presented by Unmute the Mic. I am your host, Truth, a.k.a. Truth Speaks Volumes. And on this platform, y'all already know how we do by now. We invite guests to come on, speak their piece, drop some gems, and most importantly, talk this shit. Self-expression is one of the purest forms of self-love, so let's spread the love today. This artist deserves the best introduction possible. Unique artist, man, different sound coming out of the DMV. I feel like he's something special. You know what I mean? It definitely stands out. When you see him, you gonna know it's him, and when you hear him, you gonna know that's that shit. All right. So without further ado, I want to introduce SugaRiot to the show. We're going to clap again.
Thank you. Thank you. I had to make sure I did it right this time.
Yeah.
And then it's funny, if I could say this real quick before we start.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Charles County, Southern Maryland, born and raised, been here all my life. And it's something I've had to embrace now, being called a DMV artist. Because being from Southern Maryland, you know, when I was coming up, you weren't actually the DMV.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you were from D.C., Prince George's County, a little bit of Northern VA. We were like the outcasts. Funny enough, you wearing the shirt, but like we were outcasts. So now to be
Bars.
claimed, I'm starting to learn how to like embrace that.
Yes.
Learning to embrace being a
Yes.
DMV artist. So
Yes.
yeah, thank you.
Definitely, for sure, man. So I just want to thank you for being here. I know time is limited. We're gonna talk about that. We got some things moving and shaking. But how you feeling? How are you feeling today, right now?
I'm excited. I'm just excited for the future. I know we're gonna talk about it, but excited about
Mhm.
the possibilities. Excited about starting a new life. Like I'm going into my 33rd year here on Earth. I feel like I'm going into my Jesus year now,
Hey.
where I've just reached that level of maturity where I could set out on my own adventure and journey, and I'm just happy to share that with other people.
Beautiful. Yeah, we're gonna get into all of that. So I mentioned your sound being refreshing, which it is, right? But we like to give the guest the opportunity to introduce themselves formally to a new audience, possibly some new fans. And I want you to describe your sound for people who have never heard your music, because you described it as blissfully unaware chaos. You got to tell me what the fuck that means. I need to know, and they need to know what that means.
Yeah, so like I said, being from this area, I was on the outside or the outskirts of all that was, I think, or I believed was DMV culture, right?
Mhm.
I didn't come up listening to go-go. I wasn't going to the go-go's. I wasn't listening to Gucci Mane. I wasn't, like, I'll give you all a little insight as to how I came up. My mother's a minister. My dad's a deacon, right?
Okay.
So the first ever album that I was able to buy, like go to the store, hip-hop album per se, was The Love Below. And I got the edited version from Target, and my parents wanted to listen to it with me.
Wow.
So
okay.
I was aware of like Biggie, Tupac, hip hop and things, but I remember taking road trips to Williamsburg, where my dad is from, with my family, and we would listen to gospel the whole way down. And then my dad played saxophone, and he played like Gap Band and George Clinton, Funkadelic, Parliament, Prince, stuff like that. So when I hear people say, "Well, your sound is unique,"
Mm-hmm.
I'm not aware that it's unique because I've been listening to those type of artists my whole life. So when I say blissfully unaware, I'm glad that people like it, but it hasn't hit me yet that I'm doing anything off the map. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it do. And I think, of course, like, there's influences that, you can hear when you listen. If you really know your music, you can hear, but I feel like you still have made it your own. And especially just out of this area, what's being pushed anyway, right? The popular style music, you're unique from that. And you're going to have to embrace that. You going tonight, SugaRiot, you have to embrace that. You are unique. And I'm going to tell you, first time I saw you ever was at Open Gym. It was an Open Gym event at Howard Theater. And I was there supporting another artist. Shout out to A-Rise. I was there
I love
supporting her.
A-Rise, by the way.
Yeah, she was just up here
super
with us.
dope.
And, you know, you got on the stage. And I was like, okay, my man got on the white fur coat with no shirt. He's fucking going places. He's going places, bro. I knew it in that moment. Like,
It's
I was
funny that you say that, though, because I honestly be looking back at some of the things that I've worn on stage and be like, yo, what were you doing? What was I thinking at that time? So I only can imagine how other people feel about it or, like, look at it.
It worked.
Yeah.
And I tell you, so even in that moment where we're here to see other local artists do their thing, you know, shout out to Nature Boy and Open Gym, you got up there and you stood out. The style stood out. Your stage presence stood out. The music stood out. And I think that's part of what makes a brand really successful is when you stand out. So that's what I mean when I say unique. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned, you know, you was growing up, you was listening to all that, but like before we got to SugaRiot, you know, you was Christian, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's his name, y'all, not his religion. I think that's still his
Yeah.
religion, but his name is
Yeah.
Christian. Okay, learn that on your page. But when did you start doing your own music? When did you start making music?
Okay, so I grew up around music. Like I said, I grew up in the church, and I used to play drums, right?
Okay.
And then in grammar school, I played percussion in the band. And so that was really my foray into music. I never even really believed that I could sing or rap or do anything. It started 2 years ago during the pandemic, and I was sitting at home and typing emails all day, and I had ballooned up to like 180 pounds, which is for me was like crazy because I used to box and everything. I was making weight at 126, and so for me to just be sitting around and be 180 pounds, like I was just like, yo, this can't be life. Like this can't be the end for me. This can't be what I'm
Right.
destined to do. And so I knew I had a musical ear. I knew I had some sort of musical talent. Which made me like, let me go to that. Since I have this free time at the house, I'm not going into the office all the time. Maybe I could actually try my hand at something else and make a different way in life or try out a new path. So I called my brother up one day. I'm like, hey, he lives out in L.A. I said, hey, I'm going to rent a cabin up in the woods in Virginia, and we just going to go out there. I'm going to take out all my old music equipment and stuff, drum machines and things I used to produce for other people, and we just going to sit up there and make music, right?
Okay.
And so we sat up there, we ate a bunch of mushrooms and smoked a bunch of weed and made music for like 4 days straight. So when I come back from Virginia, I still didn't think of myself as being the person behind the mic singing. My goal was to like make beats, and then hopefully other people would want to rap or sing on my beats.
Mm-hmm.
So I hit up a friend of mine that I knew had a studio, and I'm like, hey, I just want to come in and make beats for you. And he's like, man, these are pretty good. Like, we should start like some sort of little record label. I'm sure people would want to get on these beats. And I said, okay, I'll try it out. So he plays me a bunch of artists, and then I'm like, I'm not digging it. You know what I mean? I don't really like it. And I wasn't trying to be a jerk about it. I wasn't a snob, but it was just nothing
Right.
that moved me.
Right.
And so he got mad at me. He was like, you know what? How about you record a song, and we'll try to match somebody to it. And
Okay.
even at the time, he wasn't even thinking about, like, you could be an artist. He just said, you go record a song. We'll try to match somebody to what you think it should sound like. So I went back, and I made a song, and he said, nah, forget this. We ain't looking for nobody else.
You
You're
the
going to be the
one.
artist, right? And at the time, like, the way I am, no hair, no nothing. I'm just regular old Christian, right? I'm like, nah, man, you tripping. No, that's not me. I'm too old. I'm past that phase. Like, I had seen people. I went to college with, if you're familiar, Earth Gang and JID.
Mm-hmm.
I went to school with
If
them.
I'm familiar. Yes.
You'd be surprised. A lot of people don't know, but I know your
Spitters.
culture. You're part of the
Spitters.
culture, yeah. So I just always felt like it was them, and then it was me. I'm much more destined for like normal life. So when he was saying that to me, I'm like, nah, not me. But then after a while, I started coming around. Well, I said, I'm gonna just take a flyer on you. If you hear something, I'll try it out. And I started producing stuff, and I started being like, I like my music. Like, I like the way my voice sounds now, right? I started getting the confidence. I started working out. I started eating a little different. I grew my hair out. I pressed it up. And then other people started coming around and be like, hey, this is something that I like this is different. This is nothing that I ever seen before. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
All right, well, let me try to create a project, right? Let me put out something and go from there. So that was really what started the impetus. I didn't come into music even believing, like, you know how some people feel like I have the calling, I can do this.
Right.
I didn't come into
I've
that.
been,
It
I've
was
been
somebody
writing
else that
songs
saw
since
that into
second
me.
grade. Like,
Nah, that was not me at all.
Okay. That's that. And so just 2 years ago, I feel like we had a couple people up here that are like really making moves, like got some motion, like doing, and they're literally saying the same thing. Like, yo, it's been like 3 years. It's been like, I'm like, what the hell, you know?
Mhm.
But you saying, you know, I'm past that. It ain't no age on it for real. People try to put an age on it, but it really ain't one. So that's when SugaRiot was born.
That's when SugaRiot was born. Funny enough, I used to go by the name Chris Rose, right?
Okay.
And when I started
I'ma
uploading
Google it.
music, you might be able to find it. But when I started putting out music initially, I was like, why are all my streams going away? Like, I know people, these are my friends. Either they are lying to me
Mm-hmm.
and they're really not digging what I'm doing or something is happening. And so I went and I contacted the distros and they were like, oh, there's already a Chris Rose and all the streams for your music is going to this person. And I'm like, well, how can I get them to change the name? They were like, nah, well, you have a better shot of like going to find them, hiring a private assassin and taking them out than getting that name. So I said, well, I don't have the $5,000 to get the assassin, so I'm going to go ahead and change my name. And I always dug artists like Gnarls Barkley and Travis Porter, and I just sat in my basement and started writing out all these, like, what do you call them? Whatever they, like jumbo shrimp, oxymorons.
Okay.
I started like writing a whole bunch of oxymorons,
okay.
and I did SugaRiot, and it just stuck. Like, it's sweet, but it's a little edgy. You know what I mean? Like, I just sound so silky, but it's got that edge to it. And I just started saying it, and it just stuck.
I like that,
And
man.
that was that.
I like that. I would never guess, like, I mean, because 2 years it's not long. It's not a long time at all. So to go from, being in your apartment, shit, at a weight you ain't comfortable with, life you ain't feeling at the time, to like the person I see like exuding like confidence and shit, I think that's so dope. I think that's dope, man. You got a story. You got a story for real.
Which is funny. I didn't think I did. I just thought like everything is boring. And you get the imposter syndrome a little
buddy.
bit because you know your whole story. Like, you don't know my whole story. So whatever I present is what you believe. But I know like what it took to get there.
Right.
Like, oh no, I'm still that guy that was sitting on the couch typing up emails, not knowing what direction he was going in life. That's still how I was seeing myself. And now it's especially why I wanted to do something like this, because I get to bring that to the world for anybody else that is going through that same thing. Like, nah, you are what you do.
That's a fact. And what you believe
And
about
what you believe.
You know what I'm saying? And, this whole platform was also born during the pandemic, too. Same mindset. Bruh, what am I doing? I don't, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And just like, you know what? Let's just create something that we enjoy and we love. So, okay. So, I want to ask you, though, I see you've grown into your style, you created this brand, created a look. I want to know, do you have to deal with any misconceptions about the person you are based on your music or your look?
So definitely the look, because this is another thing that changed about me. So I always had this fashion sense. Like, Andre 3000 is my favorite artist.
Okay.
My mother's favorite artist of all time is Prince. My dad loved Parliament. So
Okay.
like the fashion from all three of those
Yeah.
groups and individuals, wild, right? So when I was younger, I used to like to wear the things that I wear and dress how I was, but not being as confident as I am now, you could bully me out of doing stuff.
Okay.
Like, I would go and people would be like, oh, I remember one time for my school, we had like a special guest, and I had these like boots, right, that I wanted to wear to class, and my teacher had kicked me out. Like, you can't wear those boots to class. So if you're going to be in here, it was like some U.S. senator or something like that. If you're going to be in here with the senator, you got to get out. You know what I did? I took them off. Now, the SugaRiot today, I'd have been like, fuck that senator. Like, either I'm going to come in the classroom or he don't get the privilege to be around me. That's
Period.
literally how I would have been
Or
thinking.
my boots. Fucking
Or my boots, you know what I'm saying? Like, he should be honored that I want to be around him in these boots. So I had to, like, grow, and, like, listening to that, I had to grow. But then after a while, it was just like, they're not me. At the end of the day, when I pass away and I meet my maker, like, it's just going to be me standing there by myself, and I have to account for what I did and how I live my life. So your opinion of me or what I do, as long as I'm comfortable with it, doesn't matter to me. And I had to like grow into that. So even now, like I get the thing all the time of like, oh, is SugaRiot gay? Is SugaRiot whatever? And I'm no. And it doesn't even bother me now. Like before, I'd be like, oh, let me
That's
change
what I was
something
gonna
up because
ask.
I don't want people to think a certain way. But now it's like, what difference does it make? I really don't care. I do what I want to do, which is also inspiring to people because, you don't have to. I think a lot of people get caught up. If I dress a certain way, I got to go with a certain crowd or do a certain thing or whatever. People ascribe to me because of the way I present myself. I got to be that to get around. And then I'm just like, nah, you don't. You don't have to do that at all. You could be the burliest of burliest and,
And still like SugaRiot. Look, and that, I was going to ask that because I was going, so when I was listening to your project, we're going to talk about White Rabbit EP. I was like, man, and I don't know if it was because I had just got my feet done. I was just feeling light, airy, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't do that often. I went with wife. Your birthday was just happened.
You got to do it more often. You got to take care of your feet. Like it's beautiful. Like on the regular, make that a
I felt like I
habit.
was walking on pillows. These is new feet. Whose feet are these? I don't know. But I was listening to the project and I was like, damn, when I'm listening to it, I picture myself in like a spacious room. I got the plants in here. It's natural light, incense. You know what I'm saying? So and then you mentioned that you said anybody can be a fan, but who do you think is your core audience? I know you make music for whoever it's for, but if you had to guess, what type of people are they?
I think right now, and I can't even tell you. I've got such a positive reaction from everybody. Like I can't really pinpoint and say, well, those people over there are who love me, right? But I think anybody that kind of has that in themselves where they're trying to like find themselves, or you see the person at the top of the circus walking on the trapeze doing something dangerous and you're like, man, one day I want to be able to do that, or whatever the case may be. I think those are the people that gravitate towards SugaRiot music, that I'm not afraid to like take chances. I'm not afraid to hold my own flag and like walk with it, even if my music or my style or the way that I talk or anything is off the beaten path. I know there's one other guy that's going to stand with that flag, and even though we might not be going down the same path, there's another traveler on this road with me.
Right. Okay. Beautiful. I like that. So I mentioned the EP. So White Rabbit EP dropped in 2023.
Tax day.
Yeah.
April 15th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, that's how you going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love the project, man. And I'm not just saying that because you sitting here. I wouldn't even do that. We wouldn't even be here. Probably, but I thought it was fire. Like it was refreshing. I love the sound of it. I do want to ask you why you gave it the title White Rabbit. So when I think of White Rabbit, I think of like Alice in Wonderland for some reason. You know what I'm saying? Or like the symbolism behind that and adventure and curiosity and all that. But what was your mind at when you named it White Rabbit?
So it changes, to be honest with you,
Okay.
because I always like to listen to what people think. So when I made me personally, when I came up with the name White Rabbit, it was because like rabbits have a bunch of babies, like they're the symbology of fertility. And so I felt at that time I was going through like a rebirth. It was like my own personal Easter. So the White Rabbit represented that fertility and being reborn. Boom, I got White Rabbit, right?
Okay.
But then people started saying, oh, White Rabbit, cocaine, like something to do with like cocaine. And I'm like, I never even thought of that. Like, who would think of something like that?
People that do.
It's
cocaine.
crazy, right? But it was just weird to me at that time that everybody interacts with the art in a different way and like interprets things a different way, no matter whether I say it or not. So I've heard so many interpretations of what people think White Rabbit was. They thought it was about sex. I guess sex goes along with the fertility thing, but that's not necessarily what I was thinking about when I created it. And so I was all on the rebirth tip, but it's just funny that after a while, like it even changes for me because I go through stages and the music means different things as I go along. That what it means, evolves.
So what did you hope people took away? Like when they listened to the project, what did you want people to leave with?
I just wanted to. I wanted them to find their way in the project. It wasn't anything that I was necessarily going through at the going. It wasn't anything I was trying to communicate at the time. I really just wanted to essentially jump off the porch. I didn't know what I was doing. Like I said, I had only been doing it at that time a month or two. By the time I had released the project, I was recording my own songs and making
Y'all
that
need
type
to
of
go
music.
listen to this right now and tell me if you think he was 2 months in as an artist, bro. Come
Yeah,
on.
so I was only doing it for that long. So White Rabbit was just a collection of songs that I had made that felt genuine to me. And since it felt genuine to me, I hope that when you listen to it, you got your own interpretation of it, from Spacewalk all the way down to Midnight, which is a song about my grandmother's. Midnight is the last conversation that me and my grandmother ever had. She had dementia. And for some reason, I don't know why, it was before I was even doing music, I decided I'm going to go to Williamsburg, I'm going to pull out my phone, I'm going to sit it on the table, and I'm going to just sit here and talk to her. And I captured that conversation, and then later on, I had the concept of Midnight, and I ended up putting her voice on this song, and I felt like this woman who ultimately made me, I could leave a piece of her in my music. So I just really felt like, even in a song like that, you know, everybody has those stories of loved ones that may have passed on. You have those final moments. You never know when it's going to be the end. I hope you could find your own story in that. You know, so
that was beautiful, man. And you know what? So of course, you know, I've listened to the project like a bunch of times now at this point. But like that song, or you know, that track for me, it's like it was hard at first to listen to it, because like my grandma had dementia and she primarily raised me. But I think it's so dope that you have that audio. I wish that I thought about that, you know, because I can't do that anymore. I wish I recorded more. Like, you know how we record everything now. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter what it is. You go to the grocery store, you y'all look at these prices. We record everything. And so to know that that we live in that space now, and that I didn't capture those moments, you know, it's kind of sad. But that was a special track, and I'm glad that you put it on there, and I'm glad that you had that moment. I was going to ask you about that, so yeah, thank you for bringing that up. And you got some skits on there too. Well, you got one skit on there. Who are these people? Are these real actors?
No, they're not. They're not real actors.
Is that from a movie?
No, I actually was searching. What did I put in? I was looking on YouTube, I think. And I was just like couple arguing.
For real?
Like, yeah, I just wanted like a couple arguing.
I thought you knew these people.
No, I didn't know these. I don't know these people. I wish them nothing but the best, though. If they
Yeah,
are
for
real
sure. I
people,
hope that they
like,
made
I hope
it.
they get counseling, and I
Yep.
hope they.
And
I'm sending
leave
them
Clarissa
prayers,
out of
but,
it.
Yeah.
Because she knows what she's doing. Y'all need to hey, check that out. And then you had what was it called? Fan mail. Fan mail. So who is that speaking to you on there?
So it's a friend of mine from high school.
Okay.
Right. And matter of fact, in high school, it was more like an associate, right? Like I was, like I said, I wasn't SugaRiot back then. I was the kid that played percussion in the band, goofy kid, kind of stuck to himself, wasn't really in the scene. And so when I started putting out music, I had let him hear it. I really don't even know how he had it. Like sometimes God just be working in mysterious ways. And he heard the song. And we hadn't spoken a long time. Like I said, it was probably by that time 5-6 years. No, maybe like 10 years after I got out of high school. He heard the song and he just sent me like a voice memo.
That was the voice memo?
That was the voice memo that he left me on Instagram. Like recorded a voice note and put it on Instagram. Now at the time I didn't have White Rabbit. Okay. I put out one single just to see what would happen, and he heard the single, and boom, he left me the voicemail like, yeah, man, I like what you're doing. And then it was just something about I kept it, never deleted it. And then for some reason on White Rabbit, right before Hopes and Dreams come on, you know, I was like, yo, you know what I have? Because he saw it coming before it even happened. Mind you, I only had one song out at the time. And he was talking like life into me like that. I'm like, yeah, this is the skit I need. God must have known that I needed to place it right here at this time. So,
man, come on. The way he spoke was like he had heard all of your music. He had been in studio. Like when he spoke, it was personal. Like he believed in you. Like how did that make you feel? Like, cause now this is off of one single, so you already not, you know, should I be an artist? Should I not? I don't know. I'm just we throw that out there. How did you feel when he was saying that? Off the one listen though.
I
That's crazy.
I didn't
was
even
not
know how to
expecting that.
take it. I didn't even know how to take it because, like you said, he was speaking like I had 20 albums out and he could really analyze and dissect the music. But I really believe he was looking into the future. He didn't even see what I was at that point. He was seeing me maybe 10 years from now.
Yeah,
And
my man said
it's
lock you in the
prophetic.
studio, throw money at you so you could just churn out albums from one song.
Sometimes I don't even understand how it happens. Like I'm
That's
just as enamored as anybody that looks at the SugaRiot story or likes the music, because I'm like, I really don't know how it happened, why it happened. I had no plan for it. It's not like I hit him up and said, hey, can you record this for me? No, he just sent it to me on the random, and then down the road I said, oh, this would belong here.
That's fire. So do you keep in touch?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So
Keep
now I
in
know
touch
he
all the
probably
time.
like, yeah, I already knew that.
I said, look, I hit him back on it because it was a private thing. He didn't send it to me to put on anything.
Yeah.
So I had to text him and be like, hey, do you mind me putting this on this project
That's
that I'm working on? He was like, no, absolutely. Do what you do, man. Like,
Hell
if it means
yeah.
something to you, include it.
That's
It's
love.
okay.
That's beautiful. So, I mean, I want to ask you your favorite track. So my favorite track off the project, of course, like, Midnight is special.
And I can't perform that one live, too. I've never been able to do that live. Like, the one time I tried to, when I released it, I did like a little listening party, and I tried to perform it, and I couldn't do nothing but start crying. So I've never done it.
And that's how I feel when I listen. Like, I can't even, it's one of them ones, y'all, like, for real. But I think Penny Jar is for me.
Somebody
Yeah. And that's because it's like a player-ass love song, bro. I love that fucking song. I love that song.
It's funny, the story behind that, right? I have a song called Jericho. It's me.
That's fire, too.
Love Jericho.
Love
right?
that joint right there.
So it was me and a guy that also recorded at the studio that I go to with my engineer, right? And we were supposed to record Jericho. And he was running late, like 20 minutes late. And I'm just listening to beats. I'll take up the time, maybe write a little something, listen to something. And in that 20 minutes, I found Penny Jar.
Okay.
The beat for Penny Jar. And I started like singing it. I got a soft ear for you. You want to vent, then go ahead, I'm listening. And by the time he got to the studio, I had that part and the hook. And I said, hey, do you mind getting on this? And we made that song in like 20 minutes.
That's crazy.
And it's just funny how like the things that hit. Sometimes I used to listen to artists do interviews and they'd be like, oh, I wrote this song in 20 minutes. And I'm like, oh, that's Hollywood magic. Like that didn't happen. I just thought that anything that was good had to have a bunch of force put behind it. And you had to make it happen. And then that was my first time realizing like, no, if the spirit is there,
feeling, man, the vibe,
it's going to happen. And that's the first song that I'm like, it just got poured out and happened. So I'm glad you like that song. That's one of my favorite songs too, with the story behind it.
Okay. So that's your favorite too?
My favorite is whichever one I'm listening to at the moment.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect that. Okay. So so you mentioned that you produced for other people and everything. So I actually watched you on live, like it was a while ago. It was a while ago, but you were like recording. You had the camera set up and you was recording and all of that. So like, do you make all of your own beats now? Do you make any of your beats? Any beats on that project?
Any beats that, okay, Black Licorice I made.
Okay.
I made Black Licorice, but I always have a hard time writing and recording to my own beats. Like I have my own, I have the songs and things, but I have to go through and find the music. Or I'll have to go back. I can't make a beat and do the song at the same time. I'll have to have a collection of beats and then I may go back to one of my old beats.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that I'm working on. Is just, hearing something else is like new. It makes you excited. When somebody else makes a beat or a sound, like, oh, I got to do that because this is the new thing. Sometimes, and I got to break the habit when it's yours, like, oh, man, it might not be that impressive because I did it, right?
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, kind of like that.
It's that shit.
Yeah, so
okay.
I'm working on it. Hopefully, I'll be able to put out some more of my own stuff.
Beautiful. So do you still produce now for other artists? Now that you like, full blown in your own artistry, do you still produce for other people? Would you still produce for other people?
I would. I want to try it. Okay. I always felt that my music and the things that I produce are like so far not off the beaten path, but I'm much more simple with things.
Okay.
Right? So like if you take Black Licorice, that song, it only has like one drum loop and the same guitar loop and the same bass loop, and that plays all the way down, and that's the way I kind of produce.
Okay.
To leave space for like the artists and things like that.
The voice
so
is
you
the
don't get
instrument.
no help. Like if you can't hold your own on there, I don't really have a bunch to cover up for you.
Right.
So I would like to get into the producing space and really just lock in with somebody
Okay.
that we could build something together.
I like that. And so when you're making your songs, do the lyrics come first typically, and then you find the beats like you said, or does it? I listen to beats and then I come up with the lyrics.
Music is all around. It's hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I can say, if I'm doing anything at the point where I put my hands on it, the melody always comes first.
Melody.
I may not have the lyrics, but I could hum what it's supposed to feel like. My personal belief is 9 times out of 10, unless somebody is just a fan of what you're doing, they're not listening to the lyrics anyway. They're listening to how it makes them feel.
Right.
So my philosophy is like, if I could make some sort of melody that you could connect with already, I could probably say hoopty scoop,
You could say
poopity
whatever
doop.
you
Like,
wanna
oh
say.
yeah, that sounds cool. It's whatever. So that's how I personally start, is with the melody.
Okay. Likewise. Same thing. And then just fit the words and how they come. Okay. So, well, bringing up the lyrics, we got a new segment on here. Okay. It's like a little game. We
Okay.
call it a game. It's called I Know My Lyrics.
Okay.
All right. So, because we didn't have people up here, and we see people, even professionals, they forget their lyrics. You got a bunch of music. You know what I'm saying? So, what's going to happen is I'm going to say a line or a few words, and you're going to have to sing the next few
Okay.
lines
Okay.
and tell us the name of the song.
This is my song. These are my
So
songs.
these are your songs or features that you've done.
Okay, let me get my thinking cap on. All right.
All right. First one I think is going to be an easy one. Some people, you might hear this and be uncomfortable. Some people might hear it and get excited. I don't know. Just the tip.
Sweet black licorice, lemon drop, don't stop, gone and do it, sweet sugar.
Yeah, look. I said just the tip. And Babyface said. That's the one. He got that one. That was
Oh,
the
I
easy
love
one.
that song, Black
Yeah,
Licorice.
that's the
I
one.
know I said whatever song I'm listening to at the
Yeah.
moment, but Black Licorice is my favorite when I listen to it because I did everything on it.
Right. Okay. I like that. And okay, so you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
We're gonna kick it up a notch now. Okay. Okay. Here with an ear for your thoughts, I got a penny.
It's Penny Jar. It's
No.
Say it again. Say it again. Say it again. Say it
And
again.
tell me, I might be. No, I ain't wrong. Here with an ear for your thoughts, I got a penny.
Man, jeez.
You know it be happening like that when you
I'm
spit that
curious now.
fire.
I said this.
Colors.
Oh, you know how long it's been since I did Here for Your Thoughts? I got to hit. What does it say? Say the line
Let me
again.
play. Here, oh wait, let me go back. Here with an ear for your thoughts, I got a penny.
Girl, take your time. I got plenty. Don't be timid. It's just you and I. Spaced out listening to a Quimini. Universal
Yeah.
language got food and love.
Mm-hmm.
Feed my need, Miss Turtle Dove.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're going to give him
Yeah,
that
no,
one,
I
guys.
like
We're going to
that.
give him
Thank
that
you,
one,
thank
guys.
you, thank
Okay,
you, thank
okay.
you.
And we got one more for you, all right? You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Want to take your hand and add to my portfolio.
Shout out to the good brother Blasian, who I saw have a song called Poison.
That's it.
The Modern Romeo. I want to take your hand and add to my portfolio. Advance the plan, the fate, the destiny is meant to be. Man. Yeah.
That's okay. We got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Let's
but
wrap it
I
up for
give
him.
her-
Wrap it up
okay.
for him, man. SugaRiot knows his lyrics, goddammit. Okay.
It's funny that this is funny to me because I remember when I had one song, so I would have been able to tell you just off the break
Yes.
any lyric. But now that you could go through on multiple songs and pull like little snippets, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of whoever said that though. He's pretty good.
Yeah, you talking your shit, man. So you mentioned Blasian. So the last lyric was from the song Poison that you did with him. So he's local too, right? And he's recently seen some success. So his song Untitled got like millions of streams
He's
now.
doing his
So
thing. I love
shout out
Blasian.
to him and shout out to y'all for collaborating. Are there any other local artists you would like to collaborate with? Cause you've done several. been listening. So, any other local artists that you think you would like to work with?
Who would I like to work with? A-Rise. Like I brought her up earlier, and we just haven't connected to be able to make it happen yet. But I definitely would want to collaborate with her.
Fire.
Jay Savage.
Okay.
I just think we're like so totally on different ends of the spectrum as far as like what we do. She has a more aggressive sound, and I'm just like so chill. I just want to know what to put those two things together
Okay.
would sound like. Who else? I got to shout out Blasian because funny story about Blasian, he had done one of the open gym events,
Okay.
like the biggest open gym part 1. Where you saw me, I think that was part 2, but he did part 1. And when I first got into record my own songs, he had a YouTube video up where he went crazy on stage. People were, hey, Blasian, this, that, and the third. And I saw him with motion, and I looked at it, and I was like, man, that would be really cool one day to be able to work with that guy. And then sure enough, a couple months later, we're on a song together. So
Beautiful.
if me and Blasian could do any more music together, I definitely want to work with him. But I just be like so in my own world right now that I kind of like for other people to hit me up and be like, I want to work with you. Because sometimes I don't even hear it. Like other people could hear how I would mesh with them, but I don't always get it. Right.
I got you. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna send you some shit.
For sure.
So any mainstream artist you would like to work with? If I can't say, I don't know if you heard of Akeem Ali.
Yeah.
I think
I
that
get that all the
y'all
time.
would be, but on a track together.
I get that all the time. Like you should
Kimi
work with Akeem
Casanova.
Ali. I love
What?
that guy.
That would be
Yeah.
fire. But if any mainstream, if you could work with anybody right now, who would it be? Would it be Andre?
Man, that would be okay, I would, but I'm just such an admirer, I wouldn't want to touch the sculpture. Like I just want to sit back. I don't even want to be on something where I'd be like nitpicking, like I'm on here with Andre 3000, so I'd be nitpicking every line and every lyric, and I'm like, I just want to leave him over there. I want to just enjoy the art that he does. But as far as mainstream artists that I want to work with, Earth Gang and JID. Like I said, I went to school with them. And
What school is this, by the way? If you can say.
I went to Hampton.
Okay.
Something they don't put it out there in interviews. They have their own situation about Hampton, and they don't say it's like a big thing about them that they leave it like undercover.
Okay, respect.
But yeah. But no, I'm sure everybody knows now. It's going Google. They're big enough that you could Google it. They just don't say it in interviews.
Okay.
So the fact that it would really be coming back full circle, that's the reason why I want to work with them, because it was like somebody that I looked up to so much. And while I said I'm just going to go live the regular life and just be out of music completely, go cut my hair. I had dreads at one point back when I was in college. So cut my dreads, put on the suit, get married, had kids, all that stuff, and live a civilian life. And then to be able to come back and do something with them would be like a dream of mine. I really want to do that.
I think that's going to happen now that you said it. You know what I'm saying?
Put it out there in the universe.
you know
Nothing
what I
that
mean?
I've said has not happened yet.
Period. That's why I tell my son, your words are magic. Whatever you say,
That's
just
what's
be
gonna
ready
happen.
for
Be
it.
careful, right?
Be
So
ready
better be
for
careful
it.
for what you say.
So you've been moving around, man. You know, you are in the DMV. Just throwing that back out there in case you forgot again. Okay. What is your opinion about the music scene in the DMV? When I ask artists, I get mixed reviews. But
Okay.
your opinion, what do you think about the music scene here? Coming as an independent artist trying to make it, can you do it?
Oh, absolutely. I think. Okay, so there's a couple things. I think artists from the DMV, we're some of the most talented people you have musically. Our rhythm, our pocket, the way we just have a natural groove and bounce about us, right? You go to Atlanta. Atlanta has its own thing, Miami, LA, but it's just something about that DC pocket. It's why a lot of drummers from DC end up traveling and touring with everybody, because it's a certain way we do our rhythms. But I think we're like spoiled and we don't recognize all the things that we have around us. Like I went to Stankonia Studios. They did a big writing camp down there, and it was people from all over the country that came. And there was a guy from Tallahassee, and when we told him, it was me and a couple friends of mine, when we told him we were from the DMV, he was like, man, y'all are so spoiled up there. Y'all don't even realize all the resources that you have. Like, y'all really should be popping off up there. We don't have museums and like world famous places, the Capitol and museums that you could go in and like shoot art and stuff like that. And y'all are from that area. You have it right in your backyard, and you really don't take advantage. Y'all all want to leave and go and get somebody else's look. Y'all aren't comfortable doing your own thing.
Wow.
So I think it's possible. On one hand, we got to stop being bougie and looking at everybody else like we got to be like Chicago or we got to be like Atlanta. Nah, be DC, be the DMV, and take advantage of what you have around you. The other thing is, I think being so talented musically is a blessing, and then it's also a curse because we believe that that's going to get us to the top. And I believe that people, when they hear music, you get invested in the person that's behind the microphone. And I don't think all the time we really like develop the story and the character about it. You said Akeem Ali, right? He has the whole pimp aesthetic. Like, he has a whole story that goes, it's not just enough that he does music and he sounds super good behind the microphone. Like, he developed a persona around that could be developed and people could get involved with. And I don't see that coming a lot around, even when you go to like Gold Link and stuff like that. It was cool. He made a dope song, but who is Gold Link and what movement is he starting, right? I'll give you another example, like, what's his name? La Russell.
Yeah.
I don't know a single La Russell song, if you want me to be honest.
But you know La Russell.
But I know the story behind La Russell being a hustler, going and starting things in his backyard.
Yeah.
And building it, and the people came. And I think if we started developing the stories, not just the music, but developing the cast of DC characters, just like Chicago did with Chief Keef and that whole movement, then we would be on the map because people now flip to the DC chapter, DMV chapter of what's going on. You know what I mean?
Okay, I like that. And, you know, that's I'm glad that you said all of that, because like I say, we get like mixed reviews. You get people up here like, nah, you can't make it. It's crabs in the barrel. You know, different things.
See, but we just talked about what you speak is what you get. So if you say we can't do it, that's a slave mentality. You got to break that. And if you believe that you can't do it, you will not do it.
Period. Make that shit happen. Make that shit happen. Okay. So with that being said, you're about to leave the DMV pretty soon. How many days we got left?
I leave Saturday, so what's that?
Not many.
April 5th. In case y'all put the date on this or whatever, so people will know, it'll be April 5th. I'm driving down to Miami. And this is where you're going to be starting your new life. I need to know, why Miami? Why Miami? I have a cousin that lives down there.
Okay.
Right? And I went down for my little brother's bachelor party. And I met up with him, and he was just, I just liked the way he moved. Like, he was around in the heat, and he owns hostels.
Okay.
And he's moving around in the heat. He has a full suit on, drive a pecan Mercedes Benz, like, and I just like that type of swag. It felt like I was him, right? Like, I felt he stands out in Miami. I connected with that, and so he just started speaking. He hit me up, cuz, what you doing? Like, you really got a style. You down here, people noticing you and things like that. And the way he was just speaking life into me, I'm like, you know, I might be wasting my gifts and talents. And if I was around somebody that really, I believe I'm looking for a handout, but somebody that could just really take my belief in myself to the next level, I need to be down there consistently.
Yeah.
And so I want to be able to be on the water, see things different. There's a different vibe to the East Coast, the Northeast, than there is down there on the beach, and being able to wake up to the beach every day and work out, and that salt drawing the negative energy out of your body. So I said, you know, I only know one person. I'm going to get away from all the distractions, all the comfort, everything. And I'm pretty much going to take this next 6 months to just restart.
Okay.
And really, like, if you think, oh, SugaRiot is his own person now, when I'm done with this 6 months in Miami, I just felt like I would be totally renewed, and no better place to do it than on the sunny beaches of Miami.
Man, and it's at the right time. So 6 months, and then are we going to reevaluate and decide if we want to stay, or we just doing 6 months and you coming back?
I want to make it permanent.
Okay.
But with everything going on in the government, right, I had to leave my job. And my job was given like 8 months of severance pay. So I said, oh, man, how could I pass up on this opportunity? Like, yeah, I got a decent career. Like, I'm at the top of this profession doing the whole government thing. But maybe this is a sign from God. Like he's gonna give me this period that I could really dive into my artistry full out without having to worry about, like, in the daytime I play this role and then at night I could transform into SugaRiot. Like now I have 6 months that I could really dive in, and if it doesn't work out, I could always come back, get a regular job, return to civilian life. But you know what? I'm gonna put a timetable on it that for 6 months I'm going super ham. Nothing is stopping me. I'm gonna do it. So yeah, that's why Miami, and then the 6 months hopefully will turn into a permanent residence.
Beautiful. And that's funny you said I transform into shit. I swear I be feeling like I live a double life.
Yeah, I was tired of it.
I feel like I'm living a double. I do my work and all of that, and then I come here, I do this, or I make my music, and I'm like, this feels so much better. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So shout out to you for just jumping out there and doing that, and having the opportunity to make that happen. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. Shit, I might have to come down to Miami and see you down there.
Come on down there.
What you want to do, son? Man, let's go that motherfucker. He said, yeah, let's talk about that.
You got a place.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So, and you mentioned you got kids. So you're a girl dad.
My girl dad. Yeah.
Right? 2 little girls.
Insane. They're the only girls in my family. I'm one of 4 boys. So like,
okay,
they're the first 2 little girls that we done had around as a family, and it is a whole different. I wanted boys, but then it's nothing like how your daughter's gonna take care of you as a man. Like my dad, that's my dad. Whatever.
Yeah.
Right? My daughters don't play about me. Like
that's love.
They always on top of me. They want me to be around as long as possible. So
How old are they?
6 and 4.
Okay.
And they think they're going on 60 and 40. They think they're my mom. They think they're my parents.
We watch some of your videos, and like y'all, it's so cute, man. The
Thank
little
you.
girls, man, they melt your heart, right?
I wouldn't have it any other way now.
So how do you feel like becoming a parent changed you as a person, and now as an artist? Like, how does that play a role in your art?
It gave me something to look forward to beyond my life. Like previously, it's what can I do in what's the average human lifespan? 84 years of my life. Mm-hmm. But then when I had kids, it was like, it's bigger than that. It's not just personally about what I want and doing the things that I enjoy. It's like, what type of legacy am I leaving behind for them? So if your dad tells you you could do anything you put your mind to, and he was too afraid to do it, and he was afraid to jump out the plane, come on now. I can't leave that behind. Like, how could I say those things to him and not actually put it in motion? So my kids made me more brave. Mm-hmm. It made me think about things on a much longer scale. What do I want the world to look like after me? I may not be around to see it, but I at least need to start working right now to put that in motion, because there's 4 little eyeballs looking up to me right now, and I'm their superhero. Yeah. So if they believe in it, they really believe like I'm a celebrity. Like when I'm out, people are always stopping me. Oh my gosh, I like your fashion, your girls, this, that, and the third. And they're like, Dad, I told you are a celebrity. Mm-hmm. And once they started, they also started sewing that into me. And if they really believe that, it's all dope. Perception at that point. Mm-hmm. I must really be him. Let me start playing into that.
Yeah,
more.
Moving like him. Yeah. Okay, and so I'm glad you brought up legacy, because I do have a question. So, if your daughters, you gonna teach them a lot, they probably learned a whole lot even up to this point. If they could only take one lesson from you, what would you want it to be?
Don't compromise yourself for anybody.
Solid. That's just it.
That's it.
I like that. Okay. So, go back to your music. So it's been 2 years since you dropped White Rabbit, right? Mm-hmm. And you dropped 2 singles in between then. Who was the name of them though? Was it Bang Bang?
Yeah,
that
Bang
one?
Bang.
Yeah, Bang
Doggy
Bang and
Style.
another one, Doggy Style.
Yep.
Yeah. So can we expect any new music? So I know you about to go down. Is that that's the plan? Do you have anything you're going to drop in the meantime, or is everything coming fresh while you down there?
No, I have a project that I'm looking to put out right now. It's called I Was Feeling Creative, so I wrote these songs to share nothing more, nothing less.
Fucking title is amazing.
Because that's really how I feel. Like everything is just true, and people ask me like, what does that mean? What this, that, and the third? And it's like,
nah, it's just legit.
It just is what I felt. I didn't have no plan for it. I was just recording music. I like the songs. I want to put them out, and this is kind of the cutoff. I feel up to this point, I've been moving in an unstructured way, getting by on talent, and not really planning or charting my own course. I'm just out here, and lucky through the grace of God, I'm at where I'm at right now. So I just wanted it to be like a break. I was feeling creative. I wrote these songs to share. There's nothing deeper behind it. But once I drop it and I make that foray to Miami, I really want to get intentional about what I'm doing and really step in to SugaRiot and what I want my story and my legacy to be. So this is just going to be it. This is going to be the last project that I put out before I feel like I'm really stepping into that.
Okay. All right. So
Now, when I drop it,
we looking
I
forward
don't
to
know, right? Because
Yes.
I feel, here's the dilemma that I have. I feel like each of those songs mean something, and I want them to get their own space and their own story. I want to have the visuals and the backstory to go behind it. So while it's a compilation, they might just drop one at a time.
Okay.
Boom, boom, boom. So that I could get a full encapsulation of what each of these songs mean to get you in that whole movie theater, and then we'll move on to the next. But it all falls under, these are the songs I created at this time in this space.
Okay. And the visuals already done?
Working on them.
All right.
Working on them. I have a bunch of visual, like I have a lot of things that I, could drop. I'm just waiting
Yeah.
to have it all. I didn't want to do things one at a time and then let me just keep going back and do it. I just wanted to have a whole stockpile of content and
I like
visuals
it.
that I could
And
put
be
out.
ready.
And be ready.
Yep, so there's no breaks.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and we coming down to the end, but I want to ask you, what's the ultimate goal for your music? Like, what is the goal? Do you want to be selling out, big stadiums? What's the goal?
So my philosophy on the music is just the it's just the soundtrack to the story, right? So the music per se, I don't have a goal of like I want to win a Grammy or
Okay.
I want to sell out Madison Square Garden. I want to have an impact to where, like I was saying earlier, if you're one of those travelers that may have been unrecognized at a certain point, you thought you were nothing. Like, my life is invisible. It means nothing to anybody. I want to show you that, no, you do have a story. That you do have something that makes you unique to everybody. And you may say that, oh, I'm boring or I don't have anything going on. But to somebody,
Yeah.
you mean something. And there's something that they could take from your story, right? So I just want to be able to have an impact like that to uplift those type of people. And the music is just the background to go along with that, right?
Mhm.
And so if I am able to win a Grammy or I am able to sell out Madison Square Garden, the goal isn't to do that. It's just to have the impact. I think if it does get to that level, I might have accomplished what it is
Mhm.
I set out to do.
Beautiful. I love that, man. Okay. So I want to ask this last question. We like to ask all the guests this at the end. Tell us something about you that not a lot of people know, but we will probably never guess.
That you would never guess. I don't know. I don't know what you would guess.
That's a fact.
I don't even know what you would guess at this point. That you would never. I feel like if I said something, oh, I took a 10-day trip across Europe to
I would guess
find
that.
myself. Okay, I took the trip out and did a bunch of mushrooms and stuff in the woods of Virginia. Okay, I could guess that.
He said they could guess
I went
that.
to high school for biotechnology because I thought I was going to be a scientist because I loved CSI back in the day.
Now,
feel
why
like that's
I would
guessable.
never guess that.
Okay.
He feels like that's guessable, bro. I'm never gonna guess that. Okay, so say that again. Now you went to high school.
I was in a science and tech program
Mhm.
for biotechnology
Okay.
because I used to love CSI and I thought I was going to be solving murders and helping put the bad guys in jail and things like that. And
What
so that's what I went to high school for.
So what happened after that? You just
I was like, nah, this ain't really for
Dang.
me. Like, those kids was really into, like, they all went and got degrees in biomedical this and biomedical that. And I was just off my rocker in a whole different world. Like, I thought it was cool, but then they all knew, like, he's not that guy. I was still super cool in my class. Like, everybody loved me.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, he's not going to be this, right? So that was
So it's
it.
like, it's okay, Christian.
It's okay. We love you anyway.
Yeah. Okay, man. Well, I want to thank you for being here, man, and let the people know where they can follow you if they don't already.
Okay, so I go by I am SugaRiot on Instagram. That is IAM SUGARIOT on Instagram. SugaRiot on YouTube. Make sure you pay attention to the YouTube because the whole journey of going to Miami and finding myself and things of that nature will be on YouTube. It's going to be a running series. So looking forward to you all being able to see that. It's my way to stay connected, start the conversation. And if you're on that same journey of finding yourself, you'll definitely want to tap in. And then SugaRiot on Patreon as well. You'll see announcements on that. And if you want to support the journey, tap into that as well. And you'll get behind the scenes look, exclusive content. And we'll just keep rocking this thing out.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you again for coming, man. I wish you the best of luck on your journey. You don't need it. I mean, you on your path, so I see nothing but great things for you. And we coming to Miami, bro. Don't. We're coming down there.
You got a place to stay. I'm not joking. Like, I mean, anybody that says that, come on down. I'm not even playing.
Yeah, we gonna lock in. We gonna lock in and get some shit cooking. So everybody tuning in, I want to thank y'all again for kicking it with us here on Unmute the Mic, man. You are appreciated. You are loved. We will catch y'all on the next one. Love.